Greetings and welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could be here today. Before we begin, please take a moment to hit those like and subscribe buttons and drop us a comment to help feed our hungry algorithm. It's a growing boy, and you know how they are. And while you're at it, go ahead and go check us out over on the Patreon page. The link is at the top of the YouTube page and in the video description. And a quick shout out to my Tier 4 patrons, Russ of the Frozen North, New58C, and Nick. Okay. And now, on with the story. The Deathworlders, a story by Philip R. Johnson, a.k.a. Hambone, Hambone HFY, and Hambone 3110. Chapter 22, Warhorse, the Fourth Year, Part 3. Date point. 8 years, 6 months, AV. Folktha, Cimbrian, the Far Reaches. Major Riley Jackson. Geez, pal, you got pretty. The advantage to having been promoted about the same time as the SOR's commanding officer was that Riley could still crack a joke like that on seeing him for the first time in years. That said, it wasn't truly a joke. The SOR's Crew D regime had clearly agreed with Powell, who, in addition to packing on the muscle, had shed a few apparent years. Several of the deep stress lines in his face were smoothed out, and his hairline had advanced down into territory it had once abandoned, and his nose was transformed. The old crooked beak was now fine, strong, and straight.
Fucking everybody says that nowadays.
He had been working on some of the endless pile of paperwork that was any commander's lot, and stood up to greet her.
I didn't exactly sign up for the Fountain of Youth, mind.
Got any for me?
You don't need it.
Surprise caught Riley to shift her weight onto her back foot, and her smile widened a notch. My God, are you being charming, too? That stuff really is a miracle drug. He actually chuckled.
Good to see you too, Jackson. Congratulations on the oak leaf.
Good to see you. Congratulations on the crown. Powell gestured to a seat, inviting her to sit.
Cup of tea. Coffee.
Coffee be nice, thank you. She settled into the offered seat. Straight black. Powell nodded and hit the kettle switch.
So, you're on a PR tour,
he said, rummaging through the cupboard beneath it to retrieve a sturdy cafetiere and a bag of decent-looking coffee.
The General's finally decided to shove you back into the limelight.
It's a promotion fitness thing, Riley sighed. Gotta keep climbing the ladder or else they kick you off it.
Yep.
And I'm the one who flew FTL first, so, of course, I get to dick around in front of cameras for a few months rather than do something useful. You know they want me to do a fucking documentary.
Dreadful,
Powell deadpanned. End of the world. Riley rolled her eyes skywards, though she smiled. Anyway, I figured if I took on a unit that's currently all classified and stuff, then by the time the footage is declassified, I won't have to answer stupid questions about it.
Hence why you've come to us.
I'd take it as a favor, she said a little less animatedly.
I don't see why not,
Powell agreed, spooning a generous measure of coffee grounds into the cafetiere.
Never know when I might need some clout with your mob.
That's the spirit. Powell returned to his desk as the water boiled.
You must have known you'd wind up in the public eye after flying Pandora, though, he pointed out. Why do it if you're not comfortable with the fame?
Well, here's the funny thing. People are always like, Riley who? Nowadays. A lot of folks have no idea who I am, you know. I was thinking I'd be dodging paparazzi and the military would protect me. But it turns out the paparazzi don't give a fuck because I'm always wearing the same clothes and they can't comment when I put on a pound or two because I'm not on the French Riviera in a bikini every weekend. They can't make any money off me, so the actual vultures are public relations. How's that for bullshit?
Thought you were up there with Armstrong and Gagarin.
How many people actually know those names, though? Riley asked. I heard one time that only like 40% of the American public recognize Neil Armstrong, and hell, something like 10% of Americans think the Apollo missions are faked.
I heard that too. I have my doubts, Powell shrugged. People are interested in space again. When colonizing an alien planet's on the cards.
True, and things have changed fast, Riley agreed with him. Hell, the total tonnage of private space vehicles launched into orbit now beats the combined lifetime tonnage of both NASA and the Russians? And most of that is Hephaestus, which spent less doing it than the Gemini program cost.
Which means that you're probably better known than you think, Powell shrugged. They'd have to be pretty fucking stupid not to want to get the best out of you, wouldn't they?
The kettle clicked off, and he stood to pour the coffee. I know, Riley conceded. I just like to bitch about it, I'd rather be flying.
You are allowed to enjoy other things besides flying, Powell told her.
You ever met a pilot who wanted to admit that, though?
He chuckled. Nope.
The cafetiere rattled when he sat it down on his desk, alongside 2 scuffed but sturdy mugs.
But I'd wager there are worse duties. You'll like my lads, I promise you that.
Tell me about them.
Getting the interviews started already.
Hey, I'm going to take this job seriously, she insisted. I want to do them justice. Powell nodded as he filtered the coffee and poured it through before answering.
I have never worked with a unit that had a higher background rate of pranks, hijinks, and general shenanigans, he said fondly. They're completely fucking nuts, the lot of them. And I totally sympathize. We're all eating well above our energy needs to try and get some reserves up, and all the PT in the world won't cut it nowadays. Every man jack of us is a fizzling ball of energy in the morning, and a hash-thrash wreck come bedtime. And yet, discipline is not a problem here. They're all mature, sensible lads, one and all. It's just bonkers in their dorm when they're letting off steam. But never once has it crossed the line, and I'm quite confident it never will.
You make them sound like a puppy farm, Riley observed.
They fucking are a puppy farm, Powell laughed. In fact, hell with it. That's what I'm calling their dorm from now on. The puppy farm. They'll love it.
Riley laughed. Okay, yeah. It sounds like I'm going to have fun with these guys.
Oh, you are. They'll love you. Hope you're ready to take part in a boatload of selfies.
I think I can put up with that. Powell sipped his drink.
I take it you're going to want me in front of the camera, too.
I'd take it as a favor.
A few ground rules, then. I'd rather we use call signs rather than actual names. These lads have family, friends, and we're doing somewhat pretty extreme here with the Crew D and the training. Fair?
Fair enough. And yours?
Powell hesitated. Stainless.
Nice.
The lads gave it to me. It's a damn sight better than the one I used to have.
Which was?
I'd rather not say. Powell scratched his nose awkwardly. Just say it harked back to a stupider and, more racist time in my life, and leave it at that.
Riley blinked at him. You don't seem racist, she said.
I'm not now. Once upon a time, though, you wouldn't have liked me, and for good fucking reason. I'd rather not say more than that.
Hey, I'm not interviewing you right now, Powell.
Yeah, but look, I don't have a lot of mates. I'm not about to alienate one of the few I've got by sharing exactly what I'd have thought when I was a fucking idiot kid, all right?
I think I can guess anyways, she commented dryly.
Riley,
Powell cleared his throat.
Look, if you're going to go with an angle for the SOR, the best one you can go with is self-improvement. We're not just aiming for better. We're aiming for best.
Owen, she interrupted. Relax. I'm just surprised, not upset. Where he was sipping coffee, she took a decent-sized gulp of it. Hell, I guess I was the same. You don't grow up black in Arkansas without... What I'm saying is, we're all allowed to grow older and wiser.
Ah, to hell with the older part, just so long as I keep getting wiser, Powell chuckled. I'll tell you what, I don't miss all the aches and pains I was having. My knees haven't felt so good in years.
Riley's smile returned. So, you're okay with me doing this?
Absolutely.
And you want the whole angle to be self-improvement?
Well,
Powell looked to his right and slightly downwards as he marshaled his thoughts.
We both know at least some of this material is going to end up as a recruiting video, most likely, he said. Right now, the SOR has one operational unit, which isn't even active yet. Now, we might be able to keep the training up just fine, but missions? One mission and we'll be knocked on our backsides and have to build up again. Sure, we've got guys coming up the pipeline behind us, but the full unit MTOE calls for,
He rolled his head back and forth, frowning at the ceiling, searching the memory.
36, 72, about 111 operators all told, plus 3 times as many specialists and support roles. All of those operators have got to meet some already high standards and then clear a rigorous elimination round before they so much as see a vial of Crew D, let alone their spacesuit. And by the time they're ready for active duty,
he gestured a hand down the midline of his own body.
Permanent physical and psychological changes.
You want me to stress that?
We're only going to want people who can hack the idea of never being the same again. Go talk to Warhorse sometimes, Staff Sergeant Aries. I used to work closely with this old man, who's a slim, small little guy. Not unfit for anything, just small. 4 years ago, the lad just, like, a younger version of his dad, but now is fucking huge, and he'll still be huge when he's in his 80s.
Riley nodded, thoughtfully. I mean, I'm just going to be narrating and interviewing on this thing. It's up to the director in the end, she said, but I'll pass that along.
That's all I can ask for.
They finished their coffee, and Powell indicated his paperwork.
I could do with some time to finish this. Why don't you go meet the lads? Form an impression of them. We'll have a drink later.
Riley smiled as she stood up. I look forward to it. Powell had been right. The SOR operators were a puppy farm. 11 enormous, intelligent, hyper-competent puppies who practically fell over each other to tidy up a dormitory that was already spotless to the point that only a training instructor in full motivation mode could have found something to comment on. He'd been right about how well known she was, too. They recognized her without her having to introduce herself and fought to get photos, and, in Stevenson's case, her autograph in a little book alongside assorted athletes, actors, and celebrities. Once they calmed down a bit and got used to the idea that she was there, though, she was invited to take part in Bad Movie Morning, which was apparently their weekly Saturday ritual. They watched Night of the Lepus, a Golden Age classic from the age of fedoras and dames, in which an assortment of ordinary bunny rabbits filmed close-up lolloped and flopped around in a completely unthreatening way, composited behind footage of people screaming and running away. Oddly, though, Sergeant Aries gave her an unambiguously frosty reception. It wasn't anything overt. She doubted the young man even knew he was doing it, but his attitude with her, while perfectly polite and respectful, was nevertheless decidedly cooler than those of his squad mates, and she noticed a few little frowns amongst the guys, which suggested that they were asking each other, what's up with Warhorse? Which was why, when he went to cook between movies, she engineered an excuse that she needed a glass of water and joined him in the kitchen. He stood aside to let her get at the faucet. Ma'am? You know, if you've got a problem with me, I'd like to hear it, Riley told him, putting it straight out there. I'm going to be interviewing you in a couple of months, after all. Aries blinked. Problem, ma'am? You've been kind of giving me the I don't like you much thing this whole time, and I'm curious why. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He stopped himself, but that sentence had revealed the nice guy underneath the chilly attitude. You never called the Tisdales, is all. Who? He frowned. Mark and Haley. Memories stirred. Oh, I never learned their... Wait. Shit. Tisdale? As in Sarah Tisdale? Yeah. She was their daughter? Yep. Riley dragged a chair out from under the table, a huge metal heavy one built by rebar to SOR standards, and collapsed into it. Jeez, no wonder you... God damn. You didn't know their surnames? We had fun together, that's all, Riley told him. We're not friends or anything, we just... yeah. She frowned at him. Actually, how did you even know about that? My girlfriend saw you with them, ma'am. Huh? She went still and silent for a second, then rubbed her face. Christ. Ares scratched the back of his head. I guess I owe you an apology. No, Riley shook her head. If I'd known, I'd have called them, but I didn't, and I guess that's... Jesus, their little girl. And my friend. I'm sorry, Ares. Was that an apology or condolences, ma'am? Bit of both, she sighed and ran a hand over her head, realizing that her hair was out of its bun, and she let it out and redid it. Thanks for being straight with me, though. You asked. She sat awkwardly silent as he studied a chart stuck to the refrigerator, and then he seemed to thaw out entirely. So, hey, I've actually been kind of curious. Yeah? What's FTL like? Riley almost laughed. No wonder she'd detected the chilly attitude instantly. The question had been so guileless and honest that it was clear that disliking anybody just wasn't in Ares' nature. You know what's weird about it? No special effects, she said. Like, none. It's really undramatic, you know? He pulled a bowl of soaked beans out of the fridge. None at all? Nope. It's one of those weird quirks of how it all works, right? You'd think you'd see Lorentz contraction and blue shifting and whatever, but in fact you're not moving at light speed, technically. She held up one hand like a spaceship and orbited it with the other to illustrate a point. As far as your own inertial frame of reference goes, you're moving normally, and it's just that everywhere's closer so you don't have to travel as far. It's only from the outside that you appear to be going faster than light. So anyways, everything moves around just way faster than usual. It's all so far away that it's just points of light anyways. Man, that sounds kind of disappointing. It is, Riley agreed. I jumped these 2 huge space stations into Earth orbit a few years back, and that was just like... She stuck a finger in her mouth and flicked it out again to create a popping sound. And there's a station there. Warp most of the way to the moon? She snapped her fingers. It just gets bigger. FTL is actually kind of dull. That's kind of a shame, Ares said. He produced some celery and a knife and cutting board and set about combining them with bewildering speed. It seemed impossible that he wouldn't slice off a fingertip, but in fact, he didn't inflict so much as a scratch on himself. I can live with shitty special effects, Riley said. It's still an exciting time to be alive, you know? True. Speaking of shitty special effects, Baseball stuck his head in the kitchen. We're watching the Power Rangers movie next if you're interested, Major. Oh, man, I've not watched that since I was a kid, Riley stood up. See you through there, Ares. I'll be there in a few minutes, he said, but sure. Riley gave him her best smile and followed Burgess back into the living area, pleased to have cleaned matters up. It would make the documentary so much easier. Date point: 8 years, 7 months, 3 weeks, AV. London, England, Earth. Ava Rios. You know what's funny? What? I was fucking terrified of losing my virginity. Sean gritted his teeth and curled his fingers into the pillowcase. She had both her hands on his wrists, gently trapping him. How things have changed, he commented. Ava giggled and paused to grind her hips deep down onto him, a motion which sent a delicious shiver of pleasure right through her, so that her eyelashes fluttered and she bit her lower lip so hard that it hurt. Apparently it worked for Sean, too, because his expression of furious concentration became desperate. Oh, Christ. It's okay, lover. She leaned right forward and whispered into his ear. Come for me. She kissed his jaw and stroked his hair as he came down from whatever star she'd just sent him into orbit around, until he found his voice again and said something characteristically witty between great gulping breaths. Fuck. Whoa, my. Whew. She grinned down at him. Good one? Jesus. He opened his eyes and swallowed, expression equal parts worshipful and concerned. Are you okay? I'm fine, she promised, and carefully dismounted to roll down beside him. Neither of them moved very much for a few minutes, until his breathing and pulse had returned to something resembling normal, at which point he cleared his throat and discreetly tied and disposed of the contraceptive he was still wearing. You're sure? He asked. I mean, you didn't... I don't have to, Nibble, she chided him gently. Yeah, but this is supposed to be about... Adam, I'm fine, really. It took her a few seconds to interpret the change of his expression. Sean! Shit! She buried her face in the pillow, covering the back of her head with her hands, and repeated herself, feeling a full-body cringe coming on. Shit! Really? He asked. God fucking damn it, I'm so sorry. Sean sighed, stood up and went to the bathroom, which left her to sit up as well and blush violently by herself for a few minutes, hoping that the bed might maybe become alive and devour her before his return, or something equally implausible to spare her a moment's more shame. When he came back, he just sat next to her and rubbed her back. You twit, he said lovingly. Sean, I'm so sorry. Well, better this than the other way around, he joked with a slightly awkward laugh. You're not mad? Well, I'm a bit jealous, he confessed, but not mad. I get it. I'm the other guy here. I suppose I should be glad this is the first time it's happened. A laugh exploded out of her and brought embarrassed tears with it, which just made him laugh and kiss her below the ear. It's okay, he promised. You've got to be the only guy in the world who's okay with hearing somebody else's name in bed, she told him. Well, if you're having sex with me and it makes you think of a big, strong soldier, maybe I should take it as a compliment. Don't go too far, Ava said, deflating again. God, I really am sorry, you know that? Don't worry, I've done it too, he reassured her. Broke up with Gwen in the morning, spent the afternoon with Aisha consoling me, and just as she was blowing me that evening, I called her Gwen. That was awkward. Geez, how many girls have you... Actually, I don't want to know. Okay. The wall clock uncomfortably counted out 20 seconds before she finally sighed. Okay. How many girls have you been with? Including you? Yes. Do blowjobs count? Yes. Handjobs. She gave him a slight backhand to the upper arm. Sean! Okay, he laughed. You're my sixth. Oh, thank fuck. I was worried you'd say something crazy like 20. 20? He asked. Jesus. It's good to know you're not that much of a slut, she told him. No, it's not that, Sean waved a hand. It's just, 20 is your definition for a slut. I went to school with a guy who claimed 100 when he was 18, and I'm quite sure it was the truth. Bullshit, Ava protested. How do you even... A different girl every week for 2 years, Sean suggested. Apparently, it's not that hard if you know how. What's he up to now? He volunteers with the HIV awareness program. Oh, yeah. After a silent moment, she leaned into him and made a sighing sound. You sure you're okay? Aisha, I'm fine. Ow! She'd smacked him in the upper arm again with a laugh. He joined in and tried to tickle her. She fought back, and it wasn't long before the tickle wrestling had them both ready to go a second round. This time, she got his name right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am the Casual Deathworlder, your host, and this has been The Deathworlders, Chapter 22, Part 4/Part 4. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons down below, and go ahead and feed our hungry algorithm by dropping us a comment. And as always, a huge shout out to my editor, Gregor. Thank you very much, buddy. I could never do this without you. All right, we are rapidly on our way through Warhorse Part 4. There are, I believe, 2 more episodes left after this one. So keep your eyes peeled for those. or go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell down there and be notified when they come out. Or go check us out over on Patreon and potentially get to see them as much as 3 days early. I'm actually working on extending that even further, but that takes time. Okay, I actually just went back and took a quick look at the chapter ahead, and I was wrong. There is one episode left, and it's going to be a little bit longer than this one, about 20 pages. So, we're getting close to the end of Warhorse. The next episode will bring us to the end of the 4th year. Then we've got two more years to go, and that'll be anywhere from 4 to 10 episodes total. So stick with us. We're almost through this. And no, it's nothing personal, Hambone. I have nothing against what goes on in the chapter. My only complaint is that in this already monumentally large story, you inserted War and Peace as a single chapter. Thank you very much. All right. Question. Who's got the question? I know. Salsa! And no, not the dance. What is your favorite salsa? And are you a mild person, a medium person, or are you a spicy meatball kind of person? Give me the tamales. Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, be safe, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye.